Welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod and our first episode of Lightspeed for 2026. Diving into all things Star Wars news related in under 15 minutes. This is Lightspeed. And I'd like to kick this Lightspeed off with a nice acknowledgement to our AI companion podcast. If you haven't subscribed to Star Wars Launchpad yet, please go and find that. The logo is very similar to Star Wars Escape Pod. It's blue. It looks like a processor. We have our hosts Dak and Mia, who actually helm Star Wars Escape Pod virtually in the AI. So I know the word, you must be kind of sick of it by now, but I'm having a good time slamming these quick episodes out when they need to happen. And of course, we only use official sources whenever we're making Star Wars Launchpad, and in the description box of every single Launchpad episode, you can find links to the sources that we use to generate the podcast. So that way you can actually check your sources if you ever feel like if you can't believe something that you hear on there, you can always check the source and take a look for yourself. But I'd also like to throw out a nice friendly reminder to anyone who has not checked out the Orbitkey Disney Collection. Orbitkey is a company that's done us a few favors in the past by sending us some really nice samples, and we have been really happy to chat about their Star Wars lineup in the past. Now they're moving on to the umbrella corporation that now owns, of course, the Star Wars license, which is Disney, and they've produced a number of cool things with Disney, including some Mickey Mouse, some Minnie Mouse, Donald, some Lilo and Stitch. They've done, I think they've done a Goofy product somewhere in here, and Toy Story. So they've got this night. They sent out some nice stuff to us, including a Woody Orbitkey bag, which is fantastic. It's like a sling bag that works perfectly if we're able to go to Disney parks. But yeah, definitely go check that out. The link is in the description below. And here we go with the news. Big news floating around lately within the Star Wars community, within the fandom, is Lucasfilm and Walt Disney Studios announced the leadership transition. StarWars.com wrote an article that you can read up on, and this is the article that Launchpad took and did a conversation for us. But it says, as Kathleen Kennedy steps down from Lucasfilm leadership to return to producing, Dave Filoni will lead the studio as president and chief creative officer alongside Lynwen Brennan as co-president. Lucasfilm announced yesterday that after 14 years of leading the studio, President Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down from her role. Kennedy will return to full-time producing, including the studio's upcoming feature films, The Mandalorian and Grogu, and Star Wars Starfighter. Dave Filoni, who worked closely with creator George Lucas to build the Lucasfilm animation department on Star Wars The Clone Wars, and helped launch Star Wars live-action series alongside Jon Favreau on The Mandalorian, will take on creative leadership of the company as president and chief creative officer, and Lynwen Brennan will serve as co-president. Their close collaboration and more than 30 years of combined senior executive experience will carry Lucasfilm into its next chapter of storytelling, with a strong foundation of creative vision and operational leadership guiding the studio forward. We have a quote here. "My love of storytelling was shaped by the films of Kathleen Kennedy and George Lucas. I never dreamed I would be privileged to learn the craft of filmmaking from both of them," said Filoni. From Rey to Grogu, Kathy has overseen the greatest expansion in Star Wars storytelling on screen that we have ever seen. I am incredibly grateful to Kathy, George, Bob Iger, and Alan Bergman for their trust and the opportunity to lead Lucasfilm in this new role, doing a job I truly love. May the Force be with you. Another quote, "Lucasfilm has played such a meaningful part in my life," said Brennan. "It's a community of inspiring storytellers with a rebel spirit like no other. I am honored to join Dave Filoni in leading us forward. I have been so fortunate to learn from George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, and Alan Bergman, and have unwavering faith in Dave's creative vision for the next chapter in this storied studio's legacy." Filoni joined Lucasfilm in 2005 and has played a pivotal role in shaping the creative direction of the Star Wars universe. Working closely with George Lucas, Filoni was instrumental in establishing the company's animation studio and has since expanded the franchise into new and compelling territory. His storytelling contributions span acclaimed series such as Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and The Mandalorian, earning multiple Emmy Awards and nominations. Filoni currently serves as showrunner for Ahsoka, now in production for its second season, and is teaming with Jon Favreau on the feature film The Mandalorian and Grogu, which debuts in theaters May 22, 2026. Brennan has been with Lucasfilm since 1999, beginning her tenure at Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, where she rose through the ranks to become its leader in 2009. She was appointed General Manager of Lucasfilm in 2015 and President and General Manager of Lucasfilm Business in 2024. During her tenure, she has guided the company through transformative technological shifts with a clear strategic vision and a commitment to innovation, and her industry leadership has been recognized with a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Visual Effects Society and the honor of Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire. Kennedy's leadership legacy. Kennedy's run as Lucasfilm president began in 2012 when Disney acquired the company. And there's a quote here: "When we acquired Lucasfilm more than a decade ago, we knew we were bringing into the Disney family not only one of the most beloved and enduring storytelling universes ever created, but also a team of extraordinary talent led by a visionary filmmaker. Someone who had been handpicked by George Lucas himself, no less," said Bob Iger, CEO of the Walt Disney Company. "We're deeply grateful for Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, her vision, and her stewardship of such an iconic studio and brand." Kathleen Kennedy has been a tremendous force in the industry for 50 years, and it's been our privilege to have her here at Disney, leading Lucasfilm for nearly 14 of them, added Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman. She has steered Star Wars to incredible box office heights and brought a new generation of fans into the fold. We appreciate having her on board to produce our next couple films, and the studio remains in extraordinarily capable hands with Dave Filoni, who is a brilliant storyteller, and Lynwen Brennan, an avid innovator and business leader. We are deeply passionate and experienced executives who will continue to drive the studio and Star Wars forward in exciting new directions. When George Lucas asked me to take over Lucasfilm upon his retirement, I couldn't have imagined what lay ahead, said Kennedy. It has been a true privilege to spend more than a decade working alongside the extraordinary talent at Lucasfilm. Their creativity and dedication have been an inspiration, and I'm deeply proud of what we've accomplished together. I'm excited to continue developing films and television with both longtime collaborators and fresh voices who represent the future of storytelling. Since being named president of Lucasfilm, Kennedy has guided a new era of storytelling, expanding Star Wars and Indiana Jones while championing bold creative directions and exciting new voices. She oversaw the record-shattering release of Star Wars The Force Awakens, in the first in a new trilogy of billion-dollar Skywalker Saga films, as well as Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, which also grossed over $1 billion worldwide, and led to the creation of the Emmy-winning Andor series. She also led Lucasfilm's foray into live-action Star Wars series, including 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, as well as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka, and others, alongside popular animated shows such as Star Wars The Bad Batch and Star Wars Visions. Kennedy is currently producing the feature films The Mandalorian and Grogu, and director Sean Levy's Star Wars Starfighter, set for theatrical release in 2026 and 2027 respectively. As Kennedy transitions back to producing, broadening her portfolio with new collaborations across genres and platforms, she builds on the remarkable 50-year career as one of the most accomplished producers in film history. As co-founder of Amblin Entertainment with Steven Spielberg and Frank Marshall, she helped bring to life iconic films including E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Schindler's List, The Sixth Sense, and Lincoln. Her 70-plus films have earned 25 Academy Awards, among more than 120 nominations. Along with billions at the global box office, she was honored with the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences coveted Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award in 2018. Wow, what a mouthful there. And the Producers Guild of America's Milestone Award in 2022. So that is the article, and very respectful article. I mean, a very respectful article by the Star Wars team. I mean, I congratulate them on the writing of that piece. But yeah, we are looking forward to the leadership with Dave Filoni, very much so. And I know this is something that a lot of fans have been wanting for a long time, and you know, we're super excited to see what he does and where he takes the creative vision for Star Wars going forward, because there are now a couple of eras for him to choose to expand on, and that's totally up to him as to where they want to go and what they want to do. And it sounds like Kathy is sticking around for a while. She will be taking on the role as a producer once again, and really just still involved. And you know, she'll be floating around, but now I guess we have a new captain and his partner as well, being Lynwen Brennan. And you know, I just congratulations to the both of them. This is really exciting news. So seeing that role split up into two parts makes a lot of sense in this new era, with someone very, very experienced with the financial side of things and the technology side of things, and then the other person being very experienced with the Star Wars side of things, which is the focus for Lucasfilm, you know. But I feel like this is just such a nice balance, and it will serve fans and the series very well going forward into the future. So cheers to the next 15 years, or however long it is until the torch gets passed again. We will see. Well, in other news, we will be talking more next week after the second episode of Bogan's Advocate, which is a game that we played recently. That episode will be dropping next week on Monday, but we are going to be probably doing a few of those, and you know, we had a good time with the first one, so we'll probably do 2 or 3 more, and then you know, see what happens from there. But picture Devil's Advocate, but with a bit of a spin and a bit of a Star Wars twist, of course. Fun fact, bogan is actually also an Australian and New Zealand slang term used to describe a person whose speech, clothing, behavior, and attitude is considered unrefined or unsophisticated, often associated with a working class background. So a bit of a funny little thing there, but bogan in Star Wars is also another word to describe the dark side. It was the original term for that. And inside the Jedi Temple exists what's called the Bogan Collection, so feel free to look that up on Wikipedia. But it's just a bit of a funny crossover there that I didn't expect to be perceived very differently in the real world. But it is what it is. So here's to another great week, another great year ahead. We've got lots to look forward to, and with Maul Shadow Lord right around the corner for the animated shows, I feel like we'll have a lot more to talk about in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, feel free to enjoy what we have set out for you guys on Star Wars Escape Pod. May the Force be with you. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.